It's your girl, and welcome to Candid Conversations with Shy. As I promised, today we have a special guest. So while we're getting comfortable and situated, go get your favorite snack, get you something to drink, and also remember to share this with somebody you know, even somebody you don't know. So go ahead and share this, and we're going to be right back. So it is your girl Shy, and this is Candid Conversations where we talk about everything, right? God, life, and everything in between. And as we know, life has been lifing. Thank you for tuning in. Again, even if you catch this on the replay, go ahead and talk back to us in the comments. But definitely, whenever you see this, share. And even before you share, make sure that you subscribe. We want to continue to get the word out. Woman empowerment, and even more so, just educating ourselves. So if you have not tuned into all of the videos, I suggest there's a playlist. You go in there and you stay tuned. We have conversations about mental health. We have powerful words of encouragement. We're talking about sisterhood, friendship, relationships. There are so many things in here. This is where we don't sugarcoat anything, right? Life comes at us the way that it comes. It doesn't say, are you ready for me? Is it okay? So here on Candid Conversations, we like to have those open conversations to be able to connect, learn more about ourselves, build community, and everything else that comes along with it. So thank you for tuning in. I am very, very excited to bring in the guest that we have today. And not just because it's something to do. I'm really focused on bringing people that are skilled and educated in their different fields. I'm bringing on women that are willing to share their stories and their experiences to help others, and just everything. So listen, I know a lot of us be like, I don't have nobody to talk to, or I wish I had friends like I'll be seeing in these social media streets. We're here for you. We're here for you. So right now, I am going to bring on our guest today, which is Miss LaShante.
Hello.
And there she is. And let me just share a quick story on how we met. I went to I wanted to show up and invest in someone. So I'm like, Vegas is not that far. Anybody that live in Cali, y'all know we don't even consider Vegas another state, another city in a state. So I was like, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. So me and one of my friends, we go out. We're in a space, a workshop, about self love and those different things. And I look over at LaShante and I'm like, I know her. And I'm like, so I'm having a conversation with myself first. I'm like, y'all know how we do sometimes we see somebody's face. Then I ask my friend, I'm like, do I know her? Like, how would she know if I know her? But and then we actually got the chance to speak, and I shared that with her. And I'm like, well, we know each other in the spirit, because it was just like, no, I have to know you. Like, that's how it felt. So that's how we met. I decided to drive a total of 600 miles, and God always bless. So again, welcome, LaShante Floyd.
Thank you so much, Miss Shy, for just this opportunity. One, to connect with you because I feel like we are soul sisters. There's just something about you that is just, I don't know, it's just exuberant from you, just your energy, and just getting to know and learn more about you. Like, you are just truly inspirational. And I just want to say thank you again for this opportunity.
You're welcome, and thank you for that. Come on now.
Hey, we gotta give it when it's due. So I'm giving it because it's due. Yes.
Thank you. And again, that's that like women can really get along. Like we don't always have to be in a space of that's going to take something away from me if I say that, if I do that, if I show up in the same space that I feel like I have, like that's going to no.
Mm-mm.
No.
Mm-mm. We need each other, actually. It's the
And
opposite of that. We need more connection, or at least that's what I'm learning in my own personal journey.
yes, most definitely. So, as y'all know, today we're going to talk about something new. Um, this is a candid moment, okay? And if y'all remember, I said my word that God gave me for this year was accountability. So, um, I'm a snacker, right? I eat, but the joke is, what do you eat? Because I'm so picky. So I'm an adult. I can go buy whatever I want when I want, all of that, right? So I found myself, I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna get this, and then I'm gonna get that. Cause then after I eat that, I'm gonna eat that. And the Holy Spirit was like, no, you're not. No, you're not. You're not about to do that.
Mm,
And in that moment,
mm,
I was like, oh, I'm having a fat girl moment. Okay. And I said I want to do better. So I had to hold myself accountable because again, I can do what I want to do. It's all about choice, right? God gives us free will. And I literally was like, all right, I'm gonna get this. And not only am I gonna get this, but I'm gonna get a smaller amount than I originally was. Because if I'm sticking true to the desires I have, right, that of course align with his because we have to take care of our temple, then let me be accountable. Let me pull my own card. And so yeah, I had that moment in the grocery store. And I was proud of myself though. So I was like, do you really need that? I didn't. I didn't. It was gonna taste good, but I didn't need it.
That's amazing because I've definitely got the spirit of food inside of me, craving everything. So I mean, that's amazing. That is amazing.
And then what about yourself? Is there anything new that you've tried or that you may be looking forward to? Um, just in general.
I'm gonna be honest, and we kind of touched on it very briefly right before we got on. This is something that's totally new for me. Being interviewed in this kind of space, or just really speaking and sharing my voice. Not only that, but sharing a little bit about my personal story, my testimony. That is so something that is so new and foreign because I'm a listener at heart. I can listen for days. I can hear anybody else's problems, but speaking out with mine, that is something that is not comfortable. So learning how to get comfortable with the uncomfortable is a really new space for me. Um, I didn't know what this was really gonna be and turn out, but I said, you know what, Lord, use me. You calling me to do this for a reason. And
Yeah.
I think that you are the perfect person for me to really step out of the box that I've placed myself in. So again, I'm just really excited to be here and just really embracing this opportunity.
Look at that. I'm part of something new for somebody.
New,
I
something
appreciate
new.
that. New experiences. Um, Current event is summer's just starting, so end of the school year. So all the children are getting out. You got multiple graduations. I'm going to a graduation party this week, and then I have a graduation next Tuesday. Yeah, next Tuesday. So Wednesday. But with that being said, and then I've already been seeing the memes and the funny videos. Well, parents getting prepared for the kids to be at home, trying to eat up all the food, ask for all the things. Us being prepared for that. What I do want to say, by nature, I'm a planner. That's just I plan. Um, I encourage parents to actually have something positive for your kids to do. And what I mean by that, that can even, it doesn't mean it has to cost money if you don't have that, but every day could be like some a surprise. If you have a child that's struggling in like reading, creating some type of cool game where every day they do something that has to do with reading comprehension, spelling, whatever it may be. And you can get a lot of this stuff online for free, because that's what I used to do in the summer. I make packets. Go and take your 20, 30 minutes to this packet, just so we can keep our minds going. You can come up with fun games, using a deck of cards, making your own, whatever. If you like to cook or bake, math is in that, measurements. So just I know it's fun, and then for some people it's a hard time as well for kids to be home, but plan and prepare for them. You know, they didn't ask to be here. God lent them to us. We're responsible for them. So just make it happen. And if you like, well, how can I come up with, free ways of doing things or something very minimal? I'm fine with you hitting me up, and I can give you some ideas. But yeah, just have something productive for your kids. And that's from the little ones to the teenagers. Like, just get them involved in something that is positive.
That's such a good point. I don't have little ones of my own yet. But I remember when I was in college working at a community center, and, just there's just so many different programs over the summer for kids that are low cost for families to utilize, even like programs at
Mhm.
the library. You'd be surprised, like just
Yeah.
so many different amazing things that go on at the library for free. They have
Mhm.
reading program. I mean, just so many amazing things. So it just takes a little bit of effort to kind of find it, right? Because it's not going to be knocking at your door. But definitely the kiddos, they are the focus of the summer, right?
Yes. And if you be good to them, majority of them will be good to you. I know they may have their moments, but give them some grace. So, as I said, LaShante, I'm going to let her introduce herself even further. She's going to be sharing, her story, and we're going to, have some conversation and dialogue about that. But at this time, I want to go ahead and open up the space to allow her to let you know with a little bit more detail who she is and what she does, and so we can begin to hear her story.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But I am a licensed clinical social worker. My background is in social work, but I have a extra licensure in mental health, and so I do practice as a psychotherapist. And I am a co-owner and co-founder of New Way Empowerment Center. I'm actually in my office here right now today. See clients individual therapy, couples therapy, family therapy. I also do life coaching, but that really doesn't explain who I am, because yes, I'm a therapist, but I'm also a therapist in therapy, because I'm human. I'm a wife. I'm a daughter. I'm a sister. I'm a niece. I'm so many different things, but human is definitely one of them. And when you asked me, Shy, to kind of come on, I'm like, I don't know. And people have asked me before to speak and do different things. And I'm like, but I'm not an expert yet in my field. I've been practicing therapy full time for the past few years. I've even worked inpatient at inpatient facilities, mental health, behavioral health hospitals, but still that feeling like you don't know everything. But I think that that's a good thing, not to know everything. And so just going on my journey, really I understanding that I went into mental health for myself. I just had a real zeal and desire to understand people, human behavior, why people do what they do. With the first people being my family, really wanting to understand more, and as I grew older, understanding some of the things that I experienced, trauma, generational trauma, and really wanting to heal from that. But I had to go get a master's degree to do that in mental health just to start my own journey. But it wasn't even the master's degree that helped me. It was my relationship with God, really growing my relationship with the Most High, because that's really where my healing started. I grew up in the church, but really did not have a connection, a real true relationship with anything outside of myself, nor did I have a real relationship with myself, kind of going through the motions. And because of the things that I have experienced, all that goes all the way back to childhood, um, from witnessing domestic violence, to experiencing emotional neglect, to experiencing sexual abuse, but pushing through those things, using sports, using work, using other people, focusing on them more than myself. I thought that that was helping me just get through it, but I really wasn't healing. I was just existing, not really even loving myself. Me and my grandmother have a talk that we do called Grandma's Wisdom, where that is really our main theme. And it has been for the past 2 years now, learning to love from within and what that really means, and understanding that at one point in my life, I didn't even love myself. And how could I even really love God when I didn't have a relationship with myself? And so allowing myself to go through the healing journey and help others along the way. Um, and I think that's why this platforms like this is so important, because we can learn from each other. You don't have to know everything about everything, but you know your story, you know what you've been through, you know what you've been called to do or led to do, and how God has worked in your life, and sharing those things to be and encouragement to people. Because I don't know about anyone listening to this or who will be listening to this, and maybe Shy, you can attest to this, that, and you said it at the beginning of this, that life be lifing. We all go through something. We all are going to go through something, but how do you get through that? And not even just get through it, right? We talk about the word breakthrough. What is really a breakthrough? That means you got to break through some things. And I had to recognize, and still on my journey, because I don't want y'all to feel like I got it all together either. I'm still a work in progress, but I'm growing. And that is something I have to say out loud, because we have to claim that. We don't want to just stay in one space, right? And speaking life and power to that is important, because our words are so powerful, important. So I'm a baby in Christ. I'm an infant in understanding, but I'm growing, and the seeds have been planted. And I know it's my job to keep watering and nurturing that, because I mess up daily, all the time. Okay, ask my husband. But again, I'm growing and wanting to just allow the things that I have learned in terms of being a professional, um, but incorporating that, because you learn so many things in school, but are you really applying them? Are you really sharing them? And then not only just the things that I learned in school, but the things now that I'm learning as I'm studying and I'm growing my relationship with God, and understanding that those are even things that are more important. And the things that I'm learning in school, even, or have learned in school, my apologies, are even rooted in the Word of God too. And so really trying to go so much deeper in my walk, in my relationship, so that I can live in my purpose. And I'm really just discovering what that means, because for so long I feel like I've lived in a box. And what did my box consist of? Again, not loving myself, not expressing my true thoughts and feelings outwardly, right? In a healthier, positive way. Allowing deep, really deep and intense emotions like fear, anger, sadness, disappointment, just to keep me stuck or to keep me weighed down. And another thing that was in my box was refusing to have a relationship with God, because again, I grew up in the church, but as I grew older, turning away, turning my back, right? And it's even hard for me to say this out loud, because it's like, what was you thinking? Where was you at? But it's okay, because I'm growing
Yes.
through it. And so again, just breaking through things like depression, which I have experienced, anxiety, which I experienced, and healing from trauma, which is
Mhm.
definitely a process. So I know
Mhm.
when I get excited, I speak really fast. And so please chime in, Miss Shy, when you
Mhm.
feel it's appropriate, because again, this is a journey that all of us are on, and
Yeah.
we can learn from each other. I know the importance of asking for help now, which is something that
Mhm.
was so difficult for me to do
Yeah.
before, because um, I don't even know if truly I was in denial. I just truly think I wasn't aware. I was so disconnected from myself. The awareness was not there that, girl, it's okay to ask for help.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
okay to need help.
Yeah.
Because I'm a recovering um workaholic, perfectionist, all of these things, right? It's like, but no, I got it. I got it. I can do it. I can
Right.
do it.
Right.
But you don't got to do it by yourself, nor do you have to do it alone.
Yeah. Um, that point, as well as when you mentioned um, one, you don't have to do it alone. I think that is a most of us, that is something that we embody from our upbringing. Whether it was something we seen, something we were told, intentionally, but it's like you figure it out. So then you get used to figuring it out. And then you look around and you're like, well, everybody else is going through their own stuff. So I can't go to them with my stuff. So then I sit here with all these thoughts and feelings and all of the things. But going back to I like how you described it about what you had in your box. And identifying what was in your box. What I tell people about healing, it can look scary because what you have to do, you have to stop being resistant. You have to be honest with what is. That's a part of it. You can't change nothing if you do not acknowledge what is. And so but I like that because oftentimes we're not even aware that we put ourselves in the box or that we're walking around with all these bags. We have, baggage, and we're still trying to show up like, oh no, but what ends up happening is I was just talking to a friend the other day about this. Um, I do my best um not to bleed on people,
Mm.
and that means that you have to be aware with where you are at and honest. Because if I know that I'm having a very emotional, like just I don't necessarily want to call it a bad day, but that's what we call it, like an emotional day. Everything is, it's a bad day. Then I go to somebody because I'm acting like that's like they can't see that. So I got to put this face on because that's what we're taught to put a face on. And then I go interact with somebody and not understanding like I'm now saying stuff and doing things. I may feel that like I'm not, because again I'm trying to hide behind this facade, but the impact and the interaction that I'm having with this person, they're like, something is off, something's not right, like so being aware of that, that's very powerful. Like what is in your box, I say, like, when you're asking for help or you're trying to figure out, well, what can you do, look what's in your hands. But if you're stuck in your box and you haven't dealt with that, you can't look in your hands, because these same hands got to go into your box and pick up, the unforgiveness, pick up you not being accountable, whatever it may be. And then once you start to lighten your load and you got some, room to move around in the box, you can see, okay, what else do I have in my hands that I can help me heal, help me even have the desire. Um,
Mm.
I I do not. I know God can do a quick work, and I experienced that very very early on with Him. It was some things just immediately, like the desire to want to do that thing went away and all of that. But then this is what I realized: I got used to that. I can do this, and because I'm new, so he helping your girl out real good. And then it was one point where this is what I literally felt in the spirit. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not this anymore because you didn't appreciate it. So now you have to go through this. And when you mentioned breakthrough, yeah, that means you got to go through some stuff. Oftentimes, this is the problem. We want to just do this or deviate. And it's like, no, you got to go through that because
Mm.
it's something that you need. It's the thing you've been praying about. It's the thing that you've been on the other side. So we have to go through it in the only way. Now, I ain't never practiced nothing else, so I can't speak to that. But one thing I know for sure, okay, is that even when I had my times when I walked away from God, I was not foolish enough to try to not acknowledge that He still had His hands on my life. Living in sin, doing what I wanted to do, and still saying God hand in the situation. And this just brought me back to this particular story. I was about 24. I was out on my own, so living on my own. So about 24, and I dated a guy. He was a street pharmacist. And he was about to drop me off at a appointment. I had to braid somebody's hair, and his mom lived like 5 minutes away. He was about to go over there. Well, literally on the street, across the street from my appointment, we get pulled over because he busted a U-turn. We get pulled over. When I tell you they strip search my car, pulling up layers, checking the engine. I didn't even know like you could pull stuff out. I'm like, what are they doing? Like, what's going on? Like, this is huge. Like, there's multiple cops now, everybody in the neighborhood coming out. And I'm like, what is going on? And the cop is like, do you know he's wanted, he's considered armed and dangerous and da da da. I'm getting all this information. I'm like, and I'm looking at him on the curb like, what is going on? Now, mind you, I'm grown, but it's a world that I was not familiar with in understanding the weight of it until this moment. So as we are coming to stop on the back seat, there was drugs. I just, out of my instinct, I grab everything off the back seat. We had just went and got food, and I just threw it in the bag and put it on the door. You know how you got the pocket on the door, but it's on my side. I'm not even thinking, it's on my side. And so they're like, okay, we got to wait for a female cop, search her and everything. And my mind is just going now. At this time, I'm going to church every Sunday, but I'm shacking up. I'm doing what I want to do. So I'm not really, and I'm watching the guy search the car. He is now on my side of the car. I was sitting in the passenger seat. He literally touches the bag. And I'm like, oh, bitch, I'm gone. We talking about weed is illegal. Like, I'm talking about back then. Yeah. This cop literally touched the bag. Like, never opened it, never took it out. He touched the bag, then closed the door. Shortly after the female cop come, she searched me. I'm like, I feel so degraded. Like, finally, we get to go. I actually go across the street to my appointment after these people been staring at me in the street. He go to his mama's house. But in that moment, because people were getting snatched up. I would talk about my mom had a friend. My mom's friend had a daughter my age. She was dating a drug dealer. Yeah, she was facing 30 years.
No. Oh.
So that always played back in my head. Like, he literally touched the bag and just kind of looked around it, never picked it up, never opened it, and then closed the door, and nobody else went to that car. So no matter what, like, I can't deny, like, that God ain't looked out, even when I'm like, I'm cool on you. Like, I just want to do what I want to do. And so I like when you said, even, everything, what you were doing in school is still tied back to God. And I just want people to really understand, like, the call and the purpose that is on your life, God is going to uh intercept and do what he needs to do, because he placed something inside of us that he wants a return on.
Mm, mm,
Now, we're still going to be responsible, and there's consequences for our choices and decisions
mm,
and those different things. But just the fact that if we look back, we can point out, like, yes, this happened to me and it was really, really bad. But I know somebody, it happened to them and they took their life, or it happened to them and something else happened. So even in the bad things, I can't help but to seek out, like, what is something, it's something good in here, even if it's just to get my attention, to get back straight. It's something good in here. So I liked how you just been sharing about the journey and what's required. And it doesn't even, God don't, he gives us the ability to accomplish the things that we accomplish, but in reference to him, he like, I don't need none of that. Like, that's for you. Just come to me as you are. Come, be open, be vulnerable. Let me do this work in you.
yeah.
And then the another thing that you said, and it's slipping my mind, but hopefully I get back there. But um just about, nobody is saying that you have to be perfect. And I strongly believe that that is one of the things that the enemy uses against us. Like, well, you're still struggling, so nobody's going to listen to you share your story. Or over here you may be great right here, but over there it's real bad. And it's like, at the end of the day, like, that's Bible for us to tell our testimonies. That is
Yeah.
Bible for us to let somebody know, like, what you see, let me tell you how I got here, because I have to give God the glory. Because I could have been sitting in a jail cell on many occasions, because your girl would go from 0 to 10 real bad. But just um to to destroy that myth
Mhm.
that you have to have everything lined up and in order to share with somebody. All it requires is you. And I've been telling myself this all week. In the Bible, it says the most important thing is love, 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 love. If we learn to lead with love, if we learn to really love one another,
Yeah.
and oftentimes we can't do that because, like you spoke to, we don't love ourselves. We don't know what love looked like. We didn't grow up in a house. I didn't grow up in no household hearing "I love you," getting hugs, and woo woo woo. That wasn't me. So I grew up feeling like, I'm a little thug. I'm a little hardcore with my feelings and all of that. And so we have to sometimes go back to the simple things. Stop trying to be
Mhm.
so deep. Go back to the basics. That's what I tell people often. We were trying to be too deep. Okay, we sometimes we got to go back to the basics because we missed it. But I love that. I love the analogy of the box, and even how you shared that, because some people will replace um what God can do with self. Like,
Yeah.
yes, you have to do the work, but so I really loved how you shared that and talked about that.
And thank you for sharing, just being so open and transparent and just real, because that's what it's about. And God didn't come back for the perfect, right? He didn't come back for all the people that got it together. He came back for those who don't, okay? And it's okay. It's okay not to be okay. It's okay not to have it all together, but we can still, just like you talked about, that trial or that test that gave you a testimony, and maybe somebody
Yeah.
that's not as far as you are on your journey can learn from that, can pull
Mhm.
from that, can be encouraged by that. And not to mention, like, those exact moments to prove that God is real. Some people
Mhm.
don't believe God is real, right? I'm so happy to be a believer, because whoo, without it, I really don't know where I would be. And that's just a true and honest statement. I would be like I was, like my grandmother considers the walking dead, where you are in the
Mhm.
body, but you ain't alive, nor
Right.
are you living. And I want to live. And it
Yeah.
is a part of going through the uncomfortable. As humans, we do not like to be uncomfortable.
Mhm.
Um, don't get me wrong, I don't mind working hard, but I don't want to work too hard, okay, all the time.
Right.
But that's what it's about. This journey, nobody said that everything was going to be easy. As even as you know, believers, God didn't even say that it was going to be easy, right? But he said you going to get through it if you trust in me, if you believe in me, and if you choose to receive me. And so, I mean,
Yes.
I just applaud you for doing what you doing, being who you are, because you are you helping me. That's for sure. That is for sure.
Thank you for that. Um I was watching Juanita Bynum, No More Sheets. So
Mm.
we know that's old. Even on the YouTube, it looked grainy. But the word was powerful. And I remember her saying, um, well, God, if I talk about this, that means I have to talk about myself. I don't know
Mm.
if I want to expose myself like that. And he was like, well, I need you to talk about it. And so even in that, oftentimes, well, I don't want to say nothing because then, my stuff is so bad. And again, that's just a trick. That's
Yeah.
ain't if at the end of the day, if you know that God has forgiven you, you telling somebody your story, the person that matter already know, like, and they forgave you, and you're free to dwell in that. So I want to. I really feel like I'm supposed to like help expose that. And let me tell you that even with that, I'd be like, okay, there's a cost that I have to pay.
Mm.
There's going to be spiritual warfare and things like that. But at
Yeah.
the end of the day, if you give me the assignment, I'm going to do what's needed and necessary because my life is not my own.
Ooh.
It's not my own. And whatever I need to do to allow someone to see you, I'm willing to do that because I don't, I'm thankful I don't look like what I've been through.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't want nobody to think like you ain't been through nothing because God just has a way of cleaning you up. Um, and for that person that feel like they don't have a testimony or it seems this big compared to other people's because that used to be me. No, every experience we have, somebody else needs to just know that I can make it through, that there's a way to make it through, that that for them to get inspired, or whatever it may be. And then I want to say this before giving it back to you. Um, Sometimes helping people while you're going through is the key to you going through. Because I'm not going to say it was intentional, but sometimes in some churches, it is taught that, well, I got to sit you down and do all this, and not saying, depending on what your position and all that, you probably do need to sit yourself down. But even while you're sitting, God can send people for you to speak to from the place that you are healing from or that you have healed from while you're not being used. Because um it's I remember I'm postpartum dealing with depression and I'm on the phone. Hey, so Shy, what do you think? Because I da. And I'm sitting here helping people while I'm
Mm.
going through my own thing. But this is another trick. Me helping them did not take from me because what they're asking me for, I've already passed that. I've already went through that. Now, if you come ask me about something I'm going through, hey, you got to hit me back in a couple months. I'm going through that myself. But that's where we feel like, well, I can't because, in this area, I need my own help and support. But are they asking you something about that? Can you be a help in this area? So I just want us to get outside of that thinking that if I'm going through my own stuff, then in that season God has shut you down not to be able to help nobody. That is a lie. and the truth ain't in it at all whatsoever.
No, that's so true because I wouldn't be able to be a therapist if that was true because I wouldn't be in this space of having it all together and being perfect and having all the answers. There, I don't know how many times in session I have told clients like, "Oh yeah, I needed to hear that too." I was talking to you, but I
Mhm.
was really talking to myself too because
Yeah.
we are all on a journey. Again, we're all going and battling something. Our some things may not be exactly the same, but we
Mhm.
can also encourage one another. And sometimes it's also, what's the word I'm
Mhm.
looking for? It's just something about when you identify that you're not the only one going through something too. That is
Mhm.
so relieving sometimes. And even that is just enough to be like, okay, I can hold on just a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Or somebody saying, I've been through that. But guess what? I'm getting on the other side of that. It's like, whew,
Yes.
okay, so I know it's possible. Like I ain't there yet.
Yeah.
I'm not caught up to where you are. But you know what? Let me just keep putting one foot in front of the other, and hopefully I will be there on the other side of it as I break through these things that are trying
Mhm.
to take hold on me and just weigh me down. You use a word that caught my attention. Warfare, spiritual warfare, I think is what you referred it
Mhm.
to. And I was not always aware of that. Like, yeah, if you believe in a higher power, then there is something, called a lower, right, power, a
Mhm.
negative power, the enemy who does not want you to win, who wants you to give up, who wants you to think that you ain't good
Yes.
enough, that you ain't got nothing to say, that anybody want to hear that, you ain't
Yeah.
never going to achieve the things that you want to achieve. And it's like, that's not true. That's not true. But how do you tell somebody that's going through that, right? Or somebody who's not even really aware that you in a battle. It is a battle, right? But
Yes.
you got everything in you already. Everything that you need is already inside of you because you're a warrior. Miss Shy, I know that you are a warrior, honey. You got a warrior spirit around
Mhm.
you, right? And I feel though that all of us are warriors.
Mhm.
Some of us just don't know it. Some
Yes.
of us not even really in the battle. Some of us just
Yeah.
choose to run away or to not truly accept that is who you are. And for me, that was truly where I was. I didn't want to accept it. I didn't
Mhm.
want to be the person talking to you right now. I don't know. I don't want to be in the spotlight. Let me just be over here and live my little life, do what I'm doing. But that's not why I was created. Because like you said, my
Yeah.
life ain't my own. Like I'm I was created with a purpose that I'm still tapping into. I'm still tapping into it now because I'm
Mhm.
figuring it out. But I
Yes.
have to be able to answer the call. Um and getting called to step outside the box is definitely where I'm at on my journey right now.
Yes. Yes. That that right there. I just made I think it was within the last 24 hours, maybe. I said, for those of y'all that think just because you ain't receiving the call, you just like, no, I'm cool on that. Like you ain't gonna have to fight. No, you still gonna have to fight.
Yeah.
Even when you literally don't want to do it. And I wish, take that back. My prayer is with all of the women groups and ministries that I see, that it is really for the purpose of transforming our lives to be who God has called us to be.
Yeah.
Not just for, oh, okay, it's something to do and all of that. Because I don't, okay, we got one life. And as we see, okay, young and old, people are leaving here like this from the babies up. So now you can't even just say it's the old folks, from the babies up. I do not want to live my life based on what I feel it should be,
Mm.
because I already know that's lower than what God thinks. I want to reach the fullness of it, of what He has shown me. I want to I don't want to look back and realize like, oh, I could have had that had I just did this. Oh, I could have had that had I just believed in myself. Oh, I could have had that had I just tried. Oh, I could have had
Mm.
that had I not been stuck in fear. Like, I don't want to do that. And when you are changing, let me say this. When you are allowing God to truly transform you from the inside out, you will lose friends, you will lose family, um, you will lose opportunities, but you will gain friends that you were supposed to be connected with to begin with. You will gain people that are like your family. You will walk into opportunities that man cannot make sense of. And so, with that being said, have tough skin. I always tell people, like, we was thugs out in the world. Then when we get saved, we all soft. Oh, they said something about me. Oh, I can't go because they gonna be there. No, I show up like this no matter where. But okay, she don't like, I don't care. I don't care if y'all see me right next to her. It's not gonna take nothing away from me. Like, I feel like I'm always on a mission, on an assignment.
Ooh, yeah.
And so, for us to have tougher and thicker skin and be okay, because I remember, like it was yesterday, it was someone that on online, I was on social media, and somebody was like touch and go, like, then are they gonna make it, or they're not gonna make it? So everybody's like, pray, 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 God can do miracles, God can heal, da 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 da. And God literally told me, but what if this is my will?
Mm.
Has anybody asked if this is my will? Because we think like something happens, like I need healing, let me heal. But what if this is my will? And I didn't even know the person, but I sat back and I'm like, ah, that's deep. So when we say, not my will, but your will,
Mhm.
that means I really have to trust you and be okay with the outcome either way, because I'm surrendering, not my will, but your will. Using that can help you get unstuck, stop being fearful, um, start loving yourself, not my will, but your will. So if your word is saying to love, if your word is, am I not worthy? Am I not worthy of love? Like, and that's why I said sometimes we too deep. We've been in all the church services, so now we know the Greek and all of that, but we got to go back to the basics, because there's a lot of people with titles, there's a lot of people in position, and when they are by themselves, they are so disconnected from the title and from their position, because they have real life personal struggles, and we've seen it with pastors and people taking their own lives. So it can't be like, oh my goodness, it was just them. No,
Yeah.
nobody is exempt.
Mm. You just said a whole bunch of stuff. But what's going through my mind right now is not being so connected to the outcome, to the end result, but really embracing the process and the journey, which is not
Mhm.
easy, but again is not meant to be. We got to stop trying to, think that it should be, cuz our journey is what it's supposed to be, and you are exactly, and I'm talking to myself right now in this moment too, because you are exactly where you're supposed to be, and it's okay, but you do have to trust and believe. You got to
Yeah,
believe that. If you don't believe that, then it don't, I mean, what are we really talking about if you don't really have
right.
a belief in that or yourself? And talking back to the negativity, talking back to
Mhm.
even our own voice in our head that's saying, "What? I can't do that. You shouldn't do
Yeah,
that. Why you even see there? You did it again. You said, see, you said you was growing, didn't you? But you just reverted all the way back to.
yeah,
But it's okay. You right. You right. But no, I'm talking back to that because I'm
yeah.
not gonna stay there and sit there or believe those negative voices either. which is
Yeah.
so easy to do because it just becomes our norm, right?
Yeah.
And like you said too, people in high positions or just regular, I mean, I don't know what regular everyday people are because I feel like that's who I am. I'm just a regular everyday person, but I think that that's the
Me too.
beautiful thing. We all going through something and it's okay. It's again, it's okay. I know I've said that a lot. But it really is okay.
Yes. It is okay. And um w- love. Like, I need y'all to go study that out. Like, Jesus talking about love being more important. Like, I'm saying this, do that, do that, do that, but even more so, love.
Mm, mm,
And that ties in, like you shared your story of a personal love. So if
yeah.
I'm saying I'm serving you, I'm going to do what you told me to do. I believe that you're this great God. I believe, that through you nothing is impossible. But if I believe that, then why you don't love yourself? If you believe that, why you don't believe I'll bless you the way that you see other people? If you believe that, so that you keep saying that over and over, and I keep saying we need to go back to the basics
Yeah.
because it is so, 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 so much needed and necessary. It's so much needed and necessary. Um, I'm looking at a comment here. Yes, we are all worthy of his love. That's why he died on the cross. He already paid the price. Yes. And half of us don't even walk around like that. He paid the big price. I'm about to walk around. I'm about to walk around. You ain't even about to like me when I mess up because I'm gonna be bold even in that. Well, I messed up. Let me go ahead and repent. Let me get myself back in position. Because that's what his love does. So our life is gonna life. So I'm already got to deal with some stuff. So the stuff that I know that is factual, and I've already, I'm about to do that. I'm about to do what the people say. I'm about to spin a block on that. I don't even know if I'm using that in the right context, but I liked how it sounded.
I liked it too. I liked it too.
So in
Mhm.
your story, you shared some obstacles and things like that you had to overcome, and some you're still overcoming. What are some um what if you could share just a few of the things that you did to start getting intentional about that, even the self-love, as well as possibly some tools that somebody could walk away with to start doing to help them in that area.
For sure. And thank you for asking me that because I really think like that's what's important, not just what you've been through, but how are you overcoming it? And that really
Hmm.
helps other people on their journey. But for me, again, I think I started with I'm a therapist in therapy, learning to just be okay in a safe space to even just start releasing. We got to get it out. And if you can't talk about it, write about it, right? If you can't write about it, whatever you need to do to release it and get
Yeah.
it out, right?
Yeah.
And for me, starting off with even writing, I don't necessarily consider myself a writer, but writing poetry, journaling, things like that are just such
Mhm.
good ways to get it out until you can find at least one person. And again, on top of my being in therapy, reaching out to my grandmother, who is just so knowledgeable in just life experience because she's been
Mhm.
here way longer than I could. And so connecting to my roots, learning more just about where I come from, my history has helped me on my journey towards self-discovery, on top of utilizing tools like deep breathing. I mean, when I learned
Mhm.
the importance of the connection to my breath is when I really
Mhm.
started to tap into myself, right? Again, being so disconnected. And I think we don't even really realize people who
Mhm.
don't just already practice deep breathing or mindfulness meditation. Um, if you aren't connected right? That's the best place to start, is
Mhm.
with your breath, connecting to yourself by connecting to your breath. And so that's even how I try to start each of my sessions is, let's just take a minute to breathe together so
Yeah.
that we can be present in this moment, right?
Mhm.
It's so easy to get caught in our past, right? Replaying over and over the things that we gone through, that spark up these emotions and these thoughts that again just keep us stuck. It's so easy to just look forward to our future, or even have anxiety or fear of feeling overwhelmed. Well, how am I going to do that? How am I even going to get that done? You don't got to worry about it, because if you can just be present in
Yes.
the moment, you can and you will get through it. But I know that that's sometimes easier said than done. And so, over the pandemic, especially, is when I started practicing yoga,
Mhm.
specifically comedic yoga. And I really truly feel like that is one of the major tools that helped me connect to my body, which
Mhm.
again helped me connect to myself. I grew up being an athlete, and so working out, but those are great stress relievers. Don't get me wrong, exercise is needed and very important, but being able to tune in to just something a
Mhm.
little bit different really
Yeah.
helped me. Practicing or getting in tune with sound. These are like alternative
Mhm.
treatments or ways of healing outside of just traditional talk therapy, listening to music or sound, using sound instruments to really just tune in, so that I can hear, not only
Yeah.
hear my voice, right,
Yeah.
and be able to combat the negativity and the negative things I just tell myself, but to speak and to be able to speak life into myself, but also to hear the words of God and how God speaks to me through nature. So
Mhm.
getting out hiking. And so that's something again that transformed my life. Um, really getting in tune with nature. And those are just a few things, but there's so much more. From reading, from tapping into your creativity and art. Like these are truly things that can help us heal and just are really
Mhm.
positive ways to release and express.
Yes, those are very true. And at my last job, I had front row experience with that because that was something my boss believed in. We would have whole days where it was just a mindful day. Like we're sitting in the salt room, we're getting massages, just, I mean, just the whole thing. And it really opened up my mind to a lot of things, and to be more mindful. Um, when you said um, God talks to you, did you say in nature or through nature?
I feel like, and this is a study that I just heard recently, when we walk outside and we hear the birds chirping, that just
Mhm.
automatically has like a self-soothing,
Yes.
stress release, just like effect on our body. And God
Hmm.
created that for a reason. If we just walk outside and we feel the rays of the sun, that can just
Yeah.
uplift our mood. And so I started trying to every morning while I'm walking my dogs, just be very intentional about
Mhm.
looking at nature, looking at
Yeah.
flowers, the beauty that's just all around us that we don't always take the time to look at because we just so on the go, we just so
Yeah. Yeah.
focused, we
Yeah.
just so on the grind, we just got all
Yeah.
these things. And if you anything like me, you got a million things going on in your
Yeah.
mind all at once. And it's like, I gotta slow down though, so that I can hear
Okay.
and really, really listen for sure.
Okay. When you said that, this is what I wrote down. God says some of us are not showing up to the appointment
Ooh.
because we are not where we're supposed to be. God wants to talk to you about that business, but you're not in the setting. He's waiting. Like you're not waiting on him. He's waiting on you. You're not able to hear him because you have too many people talking and in your ear. Literally, that's what I heard God say. A lot of us are not showing up to the appointment. Y'all said I can't hear God. I don't know if I'm praying, He ain't answering. I'm doing my thing. Well, I want to speak to you, but you stop your prayer in 5 minutes. I was gonna show up in minute 6, in minute 7. I told you to start to go on a walk. You feel like you just want to, you have the desire to go on a walk just because you're talking about fitness. But no, I wanted you to go on a walk because I wanted to meet you there while you were walking. I told you this morning, don't lay back in the bed, but I wanted you to go pray. God said, we are not showing up for these meetings that we're asking for. So whoever that is for, and I know it's for somebody because he wouldn't have gave it to me. And some of that is for me too, because I've been more intentional about that. You know, like I was sharing with you, like I'm so tired, and I'm like, no, I got to get some vitamins and stuff in my body. And I'm like, I could lay back down, but how well does that serve the goal that you have? How well does how does that line up with what I told you to do? You can do that now, or you can do that later, because it's your fault anyway. You went to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning. Like, we got to have some accountability. But when you said that, and that's why I asked. But yeah, some of us, we're missing our appointments. We ain't showing up. We
Because
think we
we
have
ain't
these.
tuning out. Yeah.
We think we have these feelings and these thoughts to do stuff, and God is like, no, I'm telling you to do that because I want to meet you there.
What I was
I'm
gonna
telling
say
you
is,
to,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I'm telling you to get up, and you ain't doing it.
You just got
So
me excited. That's all. I'm over here over talking you because you just got me excited. That's all.
so take some time out to hey, start over. If there's a beauty in starting over, and it doesn't mean that you was irresponsible with something or whatever. Sometimes it's just a reset. So you can decide when you want to start over. If God is telling you you realize, hey, I really ain't even starting over. I wasn't doing what he told me to do anyway. Now let me get to what I'm supposed to do. But that mindfulness piece, and taking time to just hear like what's going on in your body. I talked about that at Ladies Let's Talk. I remember one morning I woke up and I was like, I literally woke up vulnerable. Like, I'm like, I'm gonna cry. I'm like, I haven't even been awake like 2 minutes. Like, what is going on? And at first I'm like, and then I said, well, let me just go with it. And I mean, I was like really, really crying. And I'm like, well, clearly my body, it needs to release something, even if because like you said, we're so used to going and going and doing and doing and doing. And my body and my emotions was like, I literally woke up out of my sleep like that. And I just leaned into it. And the release felt so good. Everything, I'm like, I needed that. Sometimes God has to interrupt what we're doing for our best interest. And sometimes it could be something that's subtle. Sometimes it may be something that costs you a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So wherever you are at on your journey, and you may be somebody that haven't even started the journey, start now.
Yeah.
We've given you a lot of information, even tools, things to be able to help. And a lot of this stuff that it requires us. It requires us, because we like to tie a lot of things to money, and no, it requires us. So before we close it out, first I want to ask, do you have anything else that you want to share or that you want to make mention of?
No, I guess the last thing that's just resonating with me is tune out so we can truly tune in, really true tune into the
I like
spirit that's
that.
inside of us, for sure.
I'm putting that in the comments.
Yeah.
So with that being said, please let people know how they can get in contact with you, and connect with you.
Yes. You can reach me directly via email at shante.theblackTherapist@gmail.com. Shante is spelled, well, it's right there, I think, on the thing, but SHANTE period, theblackTherapist@gmail.com.
And then I'm gonna actually post that.
Yeah, and if you have any questions about what I, said or spoke about tonight, or just information regarding mental health and wellness, don't hesitate to reach out. Utilize me as a resource for sure.
Please utilize her. So somebody that said, well, I was praying, I was asking God because he know I'm not able to afford. Okay, we got the whole email right here. Okay, we got contact. We have resources. So no more excuses. No more excuses. I want all of us to win. Um, First off, probably just being petty. I want us to win so the enemy could lose. I want to be like, you thought you had us. You thought you had us. And then, of course, for the greater good, to show people God's glory.
I feel it.
But,
I feel it.
right. So, please share this video. Thank you for those that have tuned in. Please share this video. Join us next week. It's just gonna be a rewind. I'm telling y'all now. My baby turned 9. We turning up. So next Tuesday, take time to watch all the videos that are already up, and then I'll send y'all a notification for the following week. But this has been great. Thank you again, Ms. LaShante, Floyd, for just your wisdom, your knowledge, sharing your experiences with us. It's appreciated. It's appreciated.
I had a ball. I can't believe this. The time went by so fast. We just started talking, but this
Right.
was amazing. Thank you, Miss Shy. You are amazing. And to anyone listening, I hope you can just take something away that can really help you on your journey.
So with that being said, I will see you show up Tuesday. Y'all watch them videos. And I'll see you live again the following Tuesday. Thank y'all.
Bye.
And oh, no, I thought I was gonna say something else. But that's it. That's it. See y'all.